multimedia planning. Writing news for print, broadcast, and the web requires careful planning and reporting for more than one story. Keep these things in mind. Immediacy, plan to file breaking news immediately to the web. Follow up while you are reporting. Plan for the next cycle of the story. Always consider what will happen next. You will need a fresh angle for the next broadcast or the next day's newspaper. I'm always doing that. I'm always thinking ahead. Evaluate story content. Consider what type of media the story needs: audio, video, maps, graphics, text, one or more of a combination of these. And just because you can use multimedia doesn't mean you should. Writing for multimedia, here are some different principles. Again, with the immediacy, there's also there are helpful sites on here for multimedia development. WordPress, this is what my station uses right now. A lot of blogs started, and some news organizations are still on WordPress. This is the free web publishing software. I'm not sure if it's free. Maybe there is a free version of it. Maybe there's a paid right now, which you can use to create a website or blog. Vimeo, I used Vimeo a lot for uploading high quality videos. YouTube, obviously. Audacity is one of those free recording and editing audio. That was one of the first audio software that I used. How the print and broadcast style differ. These are just like really good reminders that they have throughout these chapters. Remember that print, which is also print, what happened or who did what. Past tense: fire destroyed a duplex in Midtown yesterday morning, leaving 2 families homeless. Broadcast and the web, I would actually say that web and the print is how we do things. We make our web like print, past tense, but broadcast is like when we're going on the air in radio, what is happening now or who is doing what now. So you use the present tense is preferable. For example, 2 families are homeless today after a fire destroyed their Midtown duplex. There's going to be more examples of this coming up. Conversational style. Writing simple sentences in a conversational style, the way you talk, is preferable for all media, but essentially for broadcast. Stories on the web resemble print style. Print, write to be read. Sentences may be longer and the story may include more detail. Broadcast, write for the ear and the eye. Write in a conversational style. You are talking to the viewer. Read your story aloud. Writing for the eye means you should plan your story around the images. In most cases, broadcast stories are shorter than their print counterparts. The average TV news story is 1 minute 30 seconds. Keep the sentences short and simple, structured as subject, verb, object, meaning who did what or what is happening. Here's the lead for a print story. Talking on a cell phone while driving is as dangerous as driving while drunk. New federally funded research shows. And it doesn't matter whether you use a hands-free model or hold the phone up to your ear during the conversation. That's an example of print. Here's a conversational approach to the cell phone story for broadcast. And especially with this first sentence, you can really hear a television news anchor saying this. How many times have you been cut off or otherwise annoyed on the road only to find the other drivers talking on a cell phone? A new scientific study says it now proves that talking and driving is as dangerous as drinking and driving. So this second sentence is probably how I would lead for a radio news. I like this. We use says. Remember, said is past tense, and we'll use that for our print. We'll go over that a little bit. But yes, yeah, I can definitely see. And this was on TV in Austin. Okay, so the active voice, the structure in active voice is subject, verb, object. Who is doing the action? Passive voice explains what action is being done to whom. Active voice is preferable for all media, but more essential for broadcast because it conveys more immediacy. But in some cases, passive voice is more appropriate. The active voice, police rescued the woman. Who did what? The passive voice, the woman was rescued by police. What was done to whom? Impact. When possible, lead with the effect a story will have on viewers. In breaking news, this isn't always appropriate, but explaining the impact on the audience is a good way to grab the viewer's attention. Anchorage residents will be able to breathe air that's a little cleaner this weekend. A new, tougher version of the citywide smoking ban goes into effect July 1st. Attribution, put the attribution at the beginning of the sentence in broadcast writing. In print and web writing, the attribution may come at the end of the sentence. So in print, the blaze started in the basement, fire officials say. In broadcast, fire officials say the blaze started in the basement. Said versus says. When you attribute information in broadcast writing, says gives more immediacy than said. However, if it is awkward to use the present tense, use said. If a source said something a week ago, using says would be improper. In print, said is used more often. So in the print version, the firefighters arrived on the scene about 3 minutes later at 7:43 a.m., the fire department spokesman said. In broadcast, the fire department says the blaze broke out at about 8 a.m. Visuals in print publications, photos and graphics enhance a story. In television news, the visual elements are crucial. In this age of convergence, many news organizations publish stories in multiple media. As a result, if you are waiting for a print publication, you should still plan photos and audio and video to post on your organization's website. And interactivity, try to get readers and viewers involved in all media. There are several ways to interact with the reader through questions, polls, chats, blogs, or requests for readers' photos and stories. So that is chapter 6. Now let's take a quick look at chapter 7. This is about leads and nut graphs. The lead is the beginning of the story that entices the reader. So why does renowned writing coach Don Fry write his leads last? Most writers agonize over their leads, but Fry almost never worries about what he is going to say first. Fry says he begins the writing process long before he sits down at his computer. I'm imagining the story while I'm reporting it, he says. Fry concentrates on what he calls the point statement, also known as the focus graph or the nut graph. He asks himself, what is the story about and what is the point of the story? Any information that doesn't relate to the point doesn't get included. And then he starts writing, not at the beginning, but at the paragraph containing that point statement. He continues writing until he gets to his ending. Then he writes his lead and revises it. Mervyn Block is a leading writing coach for broadcast journalism. Similar advice. Think, don't write yet, just think, he says. Think about what you want to say and how best to say it. Clearly, concisely, conversationally, start strong. Well begun is half done. The lead is crucial in any medium, especially these days. Readers and viewers are bombarded with all this information on social media and blah, blah, blah. Studies show that most online readers are scanners. How can your lead entice the reader, listeners, and viewers to continue? Take a clue from television teasers. Does the anchor tease you about a story that makes you stay tuned after the break? Leads should entice the reader to stay tuned into the rest of the story. So a lot of this is going to be looking at the types of leads. The lead tells the reader what the story is about. Think of the lead as a teaser or foreshadowing what will come in the story. No matter what type of lead you write, you must back it up with information. First, determine the focus of the story. Ask yourself, what is the story about? What is the most important information? What is the point of this story? Those are the questions you need to ask yourself to write a lead or a focus graph, also called a nut graph. Summary leads, also called hard news leads or direct leads. These types of leads summarize what the story is about in the first sentence, getting directly to the point. With the increasing use of cell phones and tablets and small screens, the summary lead is an ideal form.